is that the PJM market has a significant amount of growth in it. It also has a significant amount of old generation. Many of the plants in the PJM system are 45 years and older and need to be replaced. Many of those plants are coal plants that are less efficient and generate a significantly higher level of pollution. So I just want to touch briefly, there's a number of permitting processes that we go through. In addition to the zoning and the land development processes through the borough, there's a rigorous air permitting process that we go through with the DEP and with the US EPA. It's an extensive process, and the process includes an analysis of the best available control technology. It includes a thorough modeling analysis to ensure that concentrations are acceptable levels and that they do not violate ambient air quality standards. The plant then, if permitted, would include annual testing as well as continuous monitoring of the equipment to ensure that those permit limits are met. This process is administered by the DEP and also overseen by the US EPA. So just very quickly, the best available control technology, what that is, it's a review of both the emissions units and the pollution control equipment. And they do a comparison across all of the technologies available in the marketplace and across the technologies that are utilized throughout the country. And the analysis then looks at the application that you've proposed and ensures that the best available control technology is being implemented. One of the features that this plant will have is that, and we've had our consultant estimate some numbers, is because of the overall efficiency, the generation of power by our plant will supplant or displace some of the older generating coal-fired plant. And so on this slide, we just have some estimates of the emissions that would be decreased by other more polluting, less efficient, older power plants that would then be displaced. Just to give you a relative idea, this graphical representation here, it shows the large bar that you see there in green, it represents the ambient air quality standards that are required to be met by the EPA. The brownish bar you see in the middle is the local or the background sources that you already see in this area of Lackawanna County. And the small blue bar there is what we've estimated our project would contribute to the area. So you'll see that the contribution is very small. This is just a similar slide with carbon dioxide emissions, or carbon monoxide, sorry. Briefly on water use, the project will be supplied with water by Pennsylvania American Water Company. The Pennsylvania American Water Company has an overall supply capacity of 33 million gallons a day. We've requested usage of 4.6 million gallons a day. I think on your chairs today, or many of you may have seen a letter from Pennsylvania American. They couldn't be here today, but they wanted to at least let you know where their position is. They believe that they have plenty of water available to serve us as well as future customers. In addition to supplying us water, as part of that process, they will be doing a number of system improvements that will be paid for by our project. This slide just represents the magnitude of those improvements. Those improvements, the community will benefit by that as well in the enhanced supply system that they will have throughout the borough. And then the last bullet on there, people have asked us about what happens in the event of a drought. In the event of drought conditions, the project will be required to reduce consumption in accordance with the PAWC regulated tariffs, and that's part of our agreement with Pennsylvania American Water. The next slide here talks about our plan for discharge water. We've currently proposed and submitted applications to Pennsylvania DEP for discharge water to Grassy Island Creek. Grassy Island Creek is a tributary to the Lackawanna River. At this time, the DEP is evaluating our application and has not yet set limits on our discharge. We feel that they will, we understand the quality of the water in the streams, and we will meet the quality that they ask of us. That's a process that we will go through with water treatment on our site to ensure proper water chemistry as well as temperature of any water that would be discharged to the creek. So just as a quick summary, there are 4 permits that we've applied to with the DEP relative to water. There's the MPDES Industrial Discharge Permit, and that's the key permit that would regulate quality and temperature of any water discharges. There's an MPDS Stormwater Permit, which addresses stormwater issues on the site, stormwater controls so that you control for flooding, runoff, things like that from any industrial site that would be built. The third permit is a joint permit application, which is a permit between the DEP and the Army Corps of Engineers. It addresses 2 issues. It addresses one, the actual intake into the creek, whatever structure would be constructed, and then 2, there's a small wetland on the site that we would be filling. So it addresses those 2 issues, and then the water quality management part 2. That addresses the design of the treatment system that we would have to design in order to meet the water quality limits of the Part 1 permit. So briefly on the gas supply, the project will be supplied natural gas through the pipelines of UGI here in the local area and Tennessee Gas Pipeline, which runs east to west across northern Pennsylvania. Both UGI and Tennessee Gas Pipeline will be performing improvements to their system. Those improvements, again, will be paid by us. No impact to ratepayers whatsoever. Again, those pipeline improvements will allow the gas company to serve their existing utilities better with more throughput and gas at better pressures. Briefly on sound, a lot of people have asked questions about sound. We have a sound consultant who couldn't be here tonight, but he has. I know some of you were able to meet him when he was here for our open house a few weeks ago. The project is located, again, on the east side of the Casey Highway. The project will meet all of the noise limits required at the site boundary. We anticipate that the noise level down in any residential areas would be below 45 dBA, which is a fairly low level. As you can see on our note here, highway noise is typically up around 90 dBA. And that's on our site, I think the site limit is 70 dBA on the site boundaries. So briefly, I just want to touch on the project benefits, and then I'll wrap up here. But the project is a state-of-the-art power generating facility using the most efficient turbines available. One of the features is that it's a fast start unit. The units are fast starts. They can react to changes in the power grid. That will help support renewable energy sources that are less reliable. If the wind dies, the sun dies, or goes away, through the clouds, you might have a dip in power supply. These units can react very quickly to help support the grid, and to support it in the evenings when solar is not available at all. We strive to maintain a long-term relationship with the community. Our plant is expected to be there for 40 plus years. We don't, we build a power plant like this, it's here for the long haul. As we said earlier, it's a $1 billion investment. you don't just build that and then go away after 5 years or 10 years. So I think it's important people to understand that. The project itself will employ 30 full-time employees once operational. Total annual payroll is typically $3.5 to $4 million for that project team. As far as construction goes, there's a 30-month construction process, 600 laborers at the peak, $75 million in direct labor costs for the project. Two slides. So, approximately a week and a half ago, we made an announcement about our commitment to enter into a community host agreement in the event that our project is ultimately approved. Many people have questioned the reasons for such an announcement and the timing of such an announcement. And I'd like to briefly address those questions here as we get started this evening. Over the past 4 months, we've been in numerous public meetings, and one of the questions that have been asked repeatedly is what's in it for the borough of Jessup. And we've asked very specifically, have you entered into host agreements with other communities? And I remember vividly answering that question saying, yes, we have. And we look at all of our projects and we try to understand what the tax situation is, what the community needs are. In nearly all of our projects, we enter, we contribute something to the community, or we enter into host agreements if that's the appropriate vehicle, depending on the project specifics. However, until our announcement a week and a half ago, we hadn't made any definitive statement. We talked to a lot of people. We gathered ideas about what the community needed and wanted, and we felt it was important to put those rumors to bed. We are willing to enter a host agreement, and we commit to doing so. During those 4 months, we've been speaking to various community leaders to better understand the needs. Specifically, we've spoken with State Representative Frank Farina. He's provided us guidance, encouraged us to propose a host agreement that will provide community benefits and civic support, in addition to the job creation and the tax revenues the community will naturally see from the project. So today we want to provide just a little bit of additional clarity to what we're proposing. So our proposal, and this is just a proposal, right? Understand that we're proposing this to the, we will propose this formally to the Borough Council at a future date, but it's important that you understand where, kind of where we sit. And our proposal will be an annual contribution of roughly $500,000 annually. Each year the project operates for decades to come, as long as the project is operating. Our proposal would be that 80% of that go directly to the borough, and the borough can use those funds however they choose, whether they want to decrease the community's taxes, whether they want to improve roads, whether they want to improve parks, however they want to use it. We would also propose that 10% be contributed directly to the Bellevue School District. We think the schools are important. We will be providing a lot of tax money to the schools, but we also want to provide something extra to benefit the youth community. And we also would like to propose 5% to be contributed equally between the Jessup Ambulance Company, the Jessup Post Company 1, and the Jessup Post Company number 2. Those are all important organizations that we feel we should be making an annual contribution to. Finally, we propose 5% contribution to a number of civic groups which we've come to learn and understand are very important to your community. Those civic groups would include the Jessup 21st Century, the Jessup Youth Sports Associates, and the St. Ubaldo Youth Society. In addition to this financial commitment, we will commit to a plan to responsibly decommission the project at the end of its useful life. I know that's been a concern of some citizens, and we will make that commitment as well. It's our intent to become part of the community. We look forward to working with the community and this continued process as we evaluate the project and fine-tune things, and we look forward to your support. Thank you.